topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. Whatever's in your heart and whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. So we are here every day, in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio. And we will address every topic that is important to you and every issue of life that you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. We are here Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here in 3D. And as always, 3D is brought to you by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature, it is untouched by man? It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just water. This is Fiji Water at FijiWater.com. And I know we were a little delayed coming up live, and as always, technology is our friend. It is a blessing and it is a curse, but we are delighted that you're able to tune in with us live on Facebook Live on YouTube Live, and on RadioFreeNetwork.com. Go to RadioFreeNetwork.com, click on radio, the drop box will appear, click on the New Life, and every broadcast is live for you. I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on our contribution pages of our website at newlifeministriesinternational.com and newlifeinternationalcdc.com. We thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, to address whatever topics are important to you and whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. And I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers that I know that you give on the contribution pages of our websites. Also, in addition to those of you who give on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, I know the website has been down for a few days as they were transferring our website over to a much more significant server. There was a glitch and they have not been able to correct the problem as of yet. But I want to say to everyone, just be patient. We will be back up. And I am thankful that we have other venues that you can tune in every day, Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, and for the Sunday sermon. Those of you who have been tuning in know that I'm in the midst of an October sermon series, so you don't want to miss that on Sundays. Every Sunday at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809 at the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road. We invite you to come, and always invite you to come and worship with us at 10 a.m. If you're in our area, come and experience a better quality of life. If you're not in our area, you can tune in when the Sunday sermon goes live at 10:45 a.m. So I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you got married 10 years ago and your husband's children have never liked you. However, you say you've made every effort to be a good additional parent to them. So I will say this. So what you don't realize is that you become not just an additional parent, you become a bonus parent. And I'm going to say to you, I was prayerful about this. God allowed me to see in that secret place of your lives what's really going on. And what you have to recognize is that it's not that the children do not like you personally. There's nothing about you that they do not like, because they don't really know you. They've known you for the last 11 years, 12 years, almost 12 years. you are a new addition to the family. And you might say, well, it's been 10 years, it's been a decade. But you have to understand that children don't have the tools to navigate. They don't have the guiding compass to navigate their emotions. And children are always going to place their emotions in the equation unless someone can guide them through the process of writing an equation that does not include their emotions. So what you have to understand is a couple of things. Blending families is not an easy thing to do. It's a possible thing to do. Notice I said possible, not impossible. It is possible. And particularly when, and I know you're going to say, well, Pastor Pope, that's, consistent for you, but to put God in the equation, but that's exactly what I'm going to do. You have to put God in the equation. It's not that the children do not like you. It's they don't like the situation. They don't like the circumstance of their parents, their biological parents, divorcing and going their separate ways. That's what they don't like. They are just afraid to love more than one parent. And because you've come into the equation in the last 10 years, their thought process is if their parents could get divorced, the two of you might get divorced. They don't understand that you are in this for forever. Their thoughts are that just as their parents divorced and now they're living with their mother and seeing their father, during the week for dinner and then every other weekend, they think that could happen again. And because you're not the biological parent in their mind, you may never be seen again. You may become a memory. And so they're afraid to love more than two parents. You have to understand that it's nothing personal. So what you're going to find necessary, so I'll give you an example, is that we have a young lady in our life who my wife and I have become, and proudly have become, bonus parents. And that came about because it's a long story, but her mother passed. We knew her mother, and we were blessed to be able to have an experience with her that now has allowed us to be part of her life again as an adult, because we were in her life briefly as a child, but thank God for the Holy Spirit that was able to reconnect us, and now we're her bonus parents. Anytime you blend someone into the family, and when I say this isn't an issue for us, but anytime you blend someone into the family, they are going to decide whether or not you're going to be there forever, or if you might only be there temporarily. And for that reason, and we certainly hope that we'll be, and we don't see this changing, but that we'll be her bonus parents forever. Because she's a loving young lady, she's just a remarkable young lady. And the truth of the matter is we love her and we want the very best for her life, and we're going to be there to support her both in every way possible. So saying that, I say being a bonus parent isn't always perfect. She was a child when we first were in her life, and then due to the circumstances of her mother passing away, and we weren't connected with her for a period of time, but we reconnected, and to God be the glory. And I'm saying that to you to say, Just be connected to them. And the longer that you're connected to them, don't let your husband take his children out to dinner without you going to dinner with him. No matter what. No matter, if they start a food fight, they start a food fight. Whatever, I'm saying that for a little bit of humor. Whatever it takes, just be present. Participate. So if he takes them out to dinner during the week, let him go out to dinner with them during the week. When he has them on the weekend, whatever you can do to help out, help out. Because you're the bonus parent. So you get to give them some additional love that they might not get if you weren't present in their life. And that has its own rewards. Don't sit and focus on, well, they don't like me. They don't know you. Even in 10 years, they've put up these blocks, so these barriers, so they haven't gotten the opportunity to know you. But in time, they will realize that you're there to stay, that you're there for the long haul, that you are there till the end, and they will realize that it's okay because they'll mature, and it's okay to love more than one parent. And they'll realize that there's a blessing in having three parents, because now you got three people that looking out for you. And watch this, if their mother remarries, hopefully she'll remarry someone who's a man of character, and then they'll have four parents. And that's, the more people you have in your life to love you, the better you are, the better off you are. And so I say all of that to say, not just give it time, but put the work in, be present. Don't allow their fear of loving more than two parents to become that barrier for you to be able to interact, engage, be present. Those are all the things you can do. And if you do your part at some point in time, we don't know when that will occur. They might be 25, 30, 35, 40, who knows? Only God knows. That at some point in time they will say, I'm better off with you in my life than without you in my life. See, this is what you need to understand. That's the point that they have to reach. The point that they have to reach in their life is to realize, I am better off with this person in my life than without this person in my life. See, the fear is that you won't always be there. But when they realize that I'm better off being loved by you than being absent from you, that's when the change will occur, and they will be receptive to being loved and being loved by you and loving you in return. Children are not equipped to navigate all of those circumstances. They have to grow and experience the benefits of people loving them along the way on their journey in life. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G network. If you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. If you are not, listen, taxes and fees are always included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G network at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have neighbors who are very obsessed with the property lines and they are constantly doing things to mark their territory. And you want to know, how do you deal with people who are so obsessed with their boundaries? Well, I have to tell you, I have to laugh about this one, but here's the reality. You don't have to deal with them. You don't have to make a deal with them. Property lines are what they are. They can be obsessed over them if they want to be obsessed over them, but the property lines aren't going to change. You still own the property. You know, I realize that in your case, they're just marking off what belongs to them. But you'd be amazed at some of the scenarios that I have seen in my lifetime. The things that people go through about possessing property. I'm only concerned about owning property. And I encourage everyone to own property because real estate becomes part of your real estate. But if you own it, the property line doesn't change just because someone wants to mark their territory. If the property line belongs to them, it's theirs. If it doesn't belong to them, when they sell the property, they don't own it. So your issue is they also have put up fence. Okay, you said that in your communication. They put up fence. You don't think it allows it to be attractive. And they haven't only put it up on your side. They put it up on the other side. They put it up in the rear of the property. I get it. They've fenced off. They've placed a wall around them, and it's not just a wall of protection. When I say a wall, meaning they've put up fencing. Okay. And they put it on their property. You don't think it looks as attractive. You think it has become an eyesore, but you really don't believe that. It's just fencing. You really are annoyed about the fact that your neighbor has fenced off their property. Well, here's the way I look at this. If they want to spend money to fence off their property, that's their money to spend. It's really not a good investment unless you're fencing it off to keep your dogs in, and now they have your pets in, and now they have devices that you can put on pets to keep them on your property. So listen, if they want to spend money on their fencing, that's money that they can spend and do whatever they want to, do whatever they want with their money. I'm not going to say they're going to get a return on that investment, but it's their money to spend. If you feel that the fencing was really unattractive, you would then maybe put up some plants or trees that would block some of the fencing on your side, and you would spend the money to do that. But you're not going to spend that money because it's useless. So you don't have to deal with them. Allow them to live on their property, which they've now fenced off, and you live on your property and enjoy your property. Enjoy the way you live. Keep your peace. You're letting someone else disrupt your peace because they have their own issues. You got to understand that all of us, first of all, let me say this, all of us have issues. All of us, every one of us. Okay, my wife pointed out one of my issues this morning because I'm a firm believer in storing up things that are non-perishable, and she is a minimalist. So she pointed out to me, and I laughed about it, and we laughed about it because she pointed out that I have, more than one bottle of mouthwash and more than one tube of toothpaste and more than one bottle of body wash. But those are things that we can laugh about because it's part of who we are. That's one of my issues. And, thank God they're not a whole lot bigger than that. Okay, but we all have them. We all have issues. For your neighbors to take those measures because they need to section off their property or what they believe, well, no, because you've confirmed in your communication they fenced off the property line. That's ownership is one of their issues. Maybe obsession is one of their issues. Because you don't know what goes on inside that house. You don't. You only know what you see outside. And what I'm going to say to you is don't allow the way anyone else lives to disrupt your peace. Because at the end of the day, and you were very clear that they fenced off at the property line. So if they fenced off at the property line, that means that every bit of property that's not fenced off is your property, which you get to enjoy. Enjoy what God has blessed you with. And this is going to take me into my next communication. Enjoy what God has blessed you with and stop worrying about anyone else. Don't let anyone else disrupt your peace. Keep your peace and don't allow anyone else to disrupt your peace. Trust me, we all have issues. I just shared mine with you. We all have them. It's just some people have larger issues than others. But we all have them. Some people have issues that might be detrimental in their lives. But we all have issues. We want to make certain that we live within our peace, and we hope that we don't have any issues that disrupt the quality of our lives. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you are in any of those areas, stop in at their retail stores. They have everything that a man could possibly need: shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. If you are not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And the White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. If you're in New York, stop in at their retail store. They have everything that you could possibly need. They have home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your husband says that you spend too much time looking at and looking for the negative. And he does not feel that you are grateful for what you have or what you have accomplished to date, because he says that you always remind him of how difficult the journey has been. So there's a couple of things going on in this communication that I need to address for you. And that begins with the fact that you think that you have an optimistic personality, but you have a bit of a pessimistic personality. You're looking for the negative. And your husband says you're looking at and for the negative. So you're doing a couple of things there. You focus on the negative things, and then when you run out of negative things to focus on, you begin looking for the negative things, looking for negative. And I'm going to address that first, because first of all, you've got to start looking at things differently, okay? Because what happens is, for many people, if you spend your time looking for problems, you're going to find them. Or if you look at life and don't want to get into the second part of this, because if you look at the journey of life and you're constantly focusing on how difficult it has been, then you're really not thankful, or you're really not grateful or thankful. See, the journey of life is the journey of life. Bad things do happen to good people, and life happens to us all. But what we have to say is the journey is just part of the journey. It was difficult at the time, but that time is over. And so when the journey is no longer difficult, you can't dwell on the difficulties. So you're including that in looking at the negative when you bring up what's happened on the journey. The only thing that you need to be concerned about is what's happening right now. And what's happening right now is that you're enjoying a good quality of life. You cannot get to the great quality of life if you spend your time looking at the difficulties of the journey. You can enjoy a good quality of life. You're in good health. You have a good life. You have what you need and some of what you want. But when you get to the great quality of life, God begins to bless you beyond your own expectations. So you've really got to eliminate looking at negative things, the negative parts of the journey, what's happened along the way. And you have to start focusing on the positives of where you are right now and where you're going in the future. And you really have to stop looking for the negative. So you have to stop trying to find problems. You know, you spend time looking for something to complain about when there's nothing to complain about. You know, let me tell you when there's something, you know, although there's a song that says I won't complain, I've had some good days and I've had some bad days, but I won't complain. You know, when you're in the midst of the difficulties, that's the time to say, you know, Lord, can you help me? And what can I do to help myself to get through this? But when you're not in it, you don't have anything to complain about. The problem is when you don't have anything to complain about, you look for something to complain about. So that's not being really grateful or thankful. That's just, I have it, now I'm going to complain about it. So we've got to start looking at things differently. And then you've got to say to yourself, okay, what we've accomplished to this date has been great because God has been gracious and merciful to bring us to this point. Now what am I expecting for the future? Because that's what you got to focus on. We live in the present. But you got to focus on the future, not on the past. The present has overcome the past. The fact that you're where you are right now, the present has overcome the past. You have victory over the past because you have a present. Your focus has to be on the future. What are my expectations for the future? Now, I'm not suggesting that you should be miserable because the future hasn't come yet. What I'm suggesting to you is that you focus on doing what you need to do to accomplish the future and trust God for the rest. But we've all got to do our part. We have to be willing to work to accomplish the success that we desire, the good things that God has purposed for our lives, knowing that no good thing will He withhold from us. We just have to put the work in. Because the work is the expectation of our faith. When we expect by faith to accomplish so much more in our lives and experience the fullness of God in all of our lives. So I'm going to encourage you to really absorb what your husband is saying to you. Be grateful, be thankful, Forget about the difficulties of the journey. Just enjoy where you are right now and focus on the future, what God has purposed for your lives and what he has in store. And I can tell you what he has in store for you is your later days will be greater than your former. 3D, today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com.